Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jamie Coulter. I am the CEO of Raymond James in Canada, and I'm joined today with Micol Haimson, who's our SVP and National Director of our Private Client Group. And Micol joins me from Montreal. Micol, welcome.
Happy to be here. Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you. So you've had a couple of decades of experience in various roles in our industry, and in particular, you have a deep understanding of Quebec's financial sector. Could you share some insights into any key trends currently shaping that province's wealth management industry and where Raymond James fits in?
I sure can. As a matter of fact, I would say that more now than ever, the Quebecois culture is very, we're known for our joie de vivre and that we are a little bit unique. And it comes from a long history of having that kind of culture. And I find that what's happening is that people really don't want to be told what to do or be forced into anything. And so Raymond James comes in with its independent platform, and I think that resonates really well with the local culture. Bien sûr, tout le côté de la gestion de patrimoine, tous les services qu'on offre sont importants et on est très engagé ici dans le marché québécois. Mais je trouve que le côté indépendant devient de plus en plus important pour les clients et les gens ici.
I think that's really helpful to know for, well, not only for me, but for our audience as well. And so I think understanding that, notre indépendance resonates well in La Belle Province, as you so nicely put it.
Exactly.
That's great. Is there any sort of takeaway from that? Is there a, in addition to, sort of noting the unique culture and perspective in your home province, is there anything that Raymond James, has to keep in mind when operating in Montreal and Quebec City?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there is, first and foremost, there's the language, which we already do really well. We make sure that everything is available en français pour les clients. C'est sûr que c'est la loi, mais aussi c'est pour engager avec les clients locaux. Il faut être capable de communiquer dans leur langue. So other than the language, there's still just the way that we do business here is a little bit different. This business is a relationship business across the industry, that's for sure. And I would say even more so here in Quebec. We do take our relationships to heart, and we want to be close to our advisors and our clients. And so that continues to be an effort here in the Quebec market.
Appreciate that. That makes good sense. So up until recently, you were the branch manager for our team of Raymond James advisors in Montreal, and now you've taken on a new exciting role within our wealth management group in Canada. So in those two roles, you're providing leadership and support to help your local team thrive, and now you're doing it on a national basis. So how do you balance that support with our ethos of independence and empowering advisors to run their business their own way?
Well, that's a good question. I think that, part of what's special here is that they can run their business their own way, but there are still common themes and common areas of development for multiple advisors across the country. And now I'm noticing not just in the Montreal, Quebec market, but also across the country. So for example, advisors are still, they still try to hone their skill on how can they bring everything that Raymond James has to offer to their clients based on their needs, of course. The financial planning that we offer, the estate planning that we offer, all of those services, the US platform for those clients, what is the best way to approach the client and bring all that we offer to them. And what I'm seeing also, which is common across multiple big teams, is when they are a larger team, when there are potentially multiple advisors or one advisor and multiple team members, multidisciplinary team members. What's the kind of person that we need to add to this team in order to, again, deliver what we want to the client? Do we need a financial planner? Do we need a tax expert? And so on. So those things while each team is a little bit different and approaches it differently, a lot of the themes are similar. So as I get excited about it, because I think that that's something that we do really well, so we can help support our teams in implementing those processes and hiring the right people and so on.
I think you've touched on a really important theme there, and that is that teaming approach, and whether it's an actual team. So, as you said, advisors add people directly into their businesses, or they're relying on resources that we're providing as an organization. Kind of understanding how to knit all that together, that is a big challenge.
Exactly.
And I can see that's probably taking up a fair amount of your time, as well as our practice management experts.
Well, exactly. And we have the practice management resources, and we also have some teams that do certain aspects of it really well. And we try to have these, at our conferences, have peer panels so that they can share what they're doing, and then have exposure to those people to then ask them more detailed questions. And everyone here is, my experience so far, all the advisors are happy to help with anyone who has questions. And so these are great opportunities to help them grow their practices in the way that they want to.
I think we saw it in full. We saw that sort of manifested in a really nice way when we were on the Recognition Council trip a couple of weeks ago, and I just sort of thought it was so much fun to watch teams from different geographies spending time together, sharing best practices, kicking ideas around in a really great environment, obviously, but they were doing it quite naturally and quite organically, and it was like watching a bunch of friends kind of get back together again after in this particular conference a long absence.
And you know what, Jamie, you're right about that. And what I found even more interesting is that a couple of new advisors who haven't been on these trips and know everyone and felt like it was such a welcoming environment. They told me that their other firm was not like that. Their other firm was more cliquey. And this one, really, they came in, didn't know anyone. It was their first time on the trip, and felt that everyone, to your point, was so open and sharing and really got a lot out of it. So, I mean, that says a lot, I think, about our culture, the culture that we have here and the culture that you continue to foster here at the firm.
So that's a great observation. Really, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
So even though we're Canada's largest independent financial advisory firm today, there are still advisors across the country who don't know much about us, even after 20 plus years of the Raymond James name in Canada.
True.
However,
although only 10 in Quebec. So
only 10 in Quebec, though. That's right. That's right. And a little more profile after the combination with 3Max a few years ago, but some ways to go. When you have conversations with advisors outside of our firm, what are you finding there, or what are they saying they're sort of most surprised or happiest to learn about Raymond James?
Well, from an advisor perspective, there are two things that I think that they really appreciate. Number one is the true independence, that we do not have products, we do not have any other sources of business where we're forcing anything on them or asking them to sell anything they don't want to, really offering that independence. So they appreciate that, especially if they're at some of our competitive firms where they don't have as much independence, and that they really own their business, which they don't actually believe until they see it in writing or get here. But when we tell them you really own your business, it's so hard to explain what an impact that has on the way that we approach things, and sometimes it can come across as just, I'm just selling the firm and it's lip service, but it's really true. You own your business. We are here for you. If you are not happy, your client is not happy, we need to figure out a solution. Otherwise, you can go wherever you need to go, where you think there might be a better fit. I'd be hard pressed to find one, but but all kidding aside, I really think that those are the two things, that we truly are independent, and that they own their own book. And then all the other add-ons, like the US, we have a US parent, so we have the size, right, of the US parent, but that we're still independent even in Canada. However, we have access to a US platform, so people can be dually licensed, which is unique in the market as well. So there are some definite advantages by having this connection with the parent in the US that other firms don't have, that they don't also necessarily know about.
Yeah. And you're, of course, very involved in our trust business that sort
Yes.
of launched 2.5 years ago, and we've just made an announcement a couple of days ago about the acquisition of a BC-based trust
Correct.
company. So, and my guess is that even that piece alone resonates well with advisors outside of our organization.
100%, and it shows that, you know, in Canada, we've had history of other American firms coming in and investing and then merging and leaving and selling and coming back. And there's been a lot of that. But I think that, to your point about the acquisition of that company just a few days ago, shows that we're committed to Canada. This is not a quick entry and see how it goes. We are committed to Canada. And so that definitely helps when we're talking to advisors outside of the firm.
Yeah. It's been a great conversation starter, certainly, and many echo that across
Absolutely.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for your time this
afternoon.
afternoon.
Thank you, Jamie.
Great to catch up. And again, for our audience here, I've just spent some time with Micol Haimson, who's our SVP and National Director for our private client group here in Canada.
Merci beaucoup, Jamie.
Bon fin de semaine.